Hey guys, Nick here, and this is my long-term review of the Beats Studio Buds. So while a lot of other tech tubers just try and be the first and tell you their opinions after using the product for, 2 hours? I've been using these for the past 5 months and thought I'd share my honest opinions on the pros and the cons, and whether or not these are worth your cash as a slightly cheaper AirPods Pro alternative. Stay tuned. So inside the box is the USB-C charging cable, so no more Lightning, as these are geared towards being a cross-platform device, which we'll talk more about in a minute. And then you get some additional ear tips, a quick start guide, some paperwork, and a sweet Beats sticker to add to your collection. Picking up the case, it's clearly smaller than its predecessor, the Powerbeats Pro, and slightly thicker and wider than the AirPods Pro case, but definitely very pocketable, which I like. Now when you pop open the case, you're greeted with this demonic 666 disguised as the Beats logo, which is kind of creepy, but we'll roll with it. And picking up the earbuds, they resemble a lot of cheaper, truly wireless earbuds, like the Soundcore Liberty Lights if they had added a rectangular grip on the side. And that grip on each side of the earbuds is where you'll find the control button, with a nice glossy finish. And you have your usual gestures here, so clicks for play, pause, and skip track, and both sides have the same controls. Now if you long press, that will cycle through the noise cancellation modes, ANC, transparency, and off. And similar to the AirPods Pro, you do not have a volume rocker or controls here, something that you did have with the Powerbeats Pro. So you'll have to reach for your phone or ask your virtual assistant if you want to increase or decrease volume, which is kind of a bummer. I will say that the buttons are super sensitive as well, which is both good and bad. Good because with some other earbud controls, I find that I keep jamming them deeper and deeper into my ears if I just want to skip or pause tracks. Here you don't really need to exert that much force for your commands to register. However, I've also accidentally paused my music quite a few times just adjusting these or taking them out of my ear quickly. Speaking of which, something that surprised me here is that these are missing the auto ear detection sensor, which I've always been a fan of. But again, the button is so sensitive that when removing them from my ear, I often end up pausing music anyway by accident. The earbuds are super lightweight, coming in at around 5 grams, and they're pretty comfortable. I've always been able to get a great seal with Beats earbuds going back to the wired days, but the Powerbeats Pro, for whatever reason, were a bit uncomfortable after long stretches. Now I must say that these do have that sort of vacuum seal, where if you get them in just right, you can hear the blood flowing through your veins and the thump of every step you take. Good song. Which is a feeling I'm used to going back to the early days of the wired Beats, but if that's a trigger for you, then you'll probably need to try out a different earbud size or sacrifice seal for comfort. That said, I've had no problem keeping these in my ears for hours at a time, whether it be commuting back and forth to New York City, or just sitting around and jamming out, or trying to get some work done. Now I did say that these are sort of a game changer when it comes to pairing, so Apple and Beats are not using the H1 chip here. Instead they're using a MediaTek chip, which aims to give you the same overall experience when pairing your device, as well as access to your settings using the Beats app for Android users. And you can see without the H1 chip, you're still getting that instant pairing and nice UI you've come to expect on Apple devices. However, it won't support connective switching between your MacBook, iPad, and other iOS devices. Now let's talk about sound, which is obviously the most important part of an earbud. At first, I was a bit disappointed with the audio. Having been a fan of the Beats earbuds for over a decade, I was expecting a fun, booming, bassy sound. Ever since becoming an Apple product, it feels like Beats earbuds, for better or worse, are a lot more balanced, leaving them with a sort of identity crisis. Look, I'm not buying Beats products to have amazingly clear, pristine, studio quality sound. I'm buying these for 2 reasons. 1, to be like LeBron, and 2, to pump up some bassy jams and have a good time. By not owning their bassy reputation, I think that the Studio Buds kind of get lost in what they are or what they're trying to be. The sound here isn't clear enough to be your go-to for podcasts, movies, or treble-forward music. And it's not bassy enough to be your go-to for Dre's greatest hits. They sound okay, just nothing too special one way or the other. The Powerbeats Pro made the first move with Beats becoming more balanced, but popping them in now and comparing them side by side with the Studio Buds, the Powerbeats Pro have so much more life to them. These just sound a bit too hollow for my taste, especially when you consider what else is out there on the market. I will say that the soundstage is surprisingly wide, so much so that listening to certain tracks almost gave me a binaural audio sensation, where I was looking over my shoulder to make sure there was no one behind me, when in reality it just turned out to be Travis Barker's drums filling in that 3D stereo field. Look, they sound better than the standard AirPods, right? But I've seen a lot of other videos saying that these are the AirPods Pro killers. Not a chance in hell. Like I said, I've been using these for several months, and I have to say, especially as the price comes down for the AirPods Pro, if you're an Apple user, spend the extra 20 or 30 bucks and get those instead. You'll get better, more balanced sound with more bass than you'd probably expect, and top-of-the-line noise cancellation for a wireless earbud. Speaking of noise cancellation, these aren't bad. It's not on the same level as the Sonys or the AirPods Pro, which I think are top shelf. However, they do a great job of blocking out external sound, conversations, HVAC systems, maybe at 75% the level of the AirPods Pro. I'm often down here in the basement, I have heaters going on, dehumidifiers, and all of that sort of disappears when I turn on ANC. But for commuting back and forth on the train to New York City, I think I'd rather have the AirPods Pro with me for that extra 25% of noise cancellation. Transparency mode is alright. I mean, I don't ever really use that feature, but it works as expected, letting external sound leak through right into your ears. Call quality sounds pretty good, and you can hear that now. Although I have been on some work calls where colleagues have said that I don't sound as crisp as I usually do when I'm on my AirPods Pro, but I think they sound great, and they shouldn't be a problem if you're using them for phone calls. Now, where the Studio Buds might trump other earbuds on the market right now is in their small form factor. LeBron looked cool rocking these a few months early. They come in a few different colors, there's no stem, and overall they're super low profile. Once you get the right fit, you might forget they're in your ear as well, something I can't really say about their big brother, the Powerbeats Pro, which unfortunately after an hour or two felt like they were slicing my ears. For battery life, you're going to get about 5 hours with ANC turned on and about 8 hours with it turned off. And the charging case will give you an extra 15 hours with and 24 hours without. And keep in mind you don't get wireless charging with the Beats Studio Buds, another premium feature that seems to be missing considering their relatively high asking price. Last things to note, they have IPX4 water resistance, so if you want to go work out and listen to your heart rate with that vacuum seal, then no problem. And finally, they do support Dolby Atmos spatial audio, but without head tracking. So I'm not sure if that might come in the future with a forced software update that Apple likes to implement, but I guess we'll see. So that's about it. Are these worth 150 bucks? I would say no. I got them on sale almost immediately after release and paid $129 for them, and even at that price I would still steer clear. As the AirPods Pro continue to drop in price, and I've seen them recently at $179 and even as low as $159, I'd say save up a few more bucks and pick those up instead. And if you haven't seen my full review of the AirPods Pro, I'll leave a link in the description. For Android users, maybe you want to pick these up if you've been missing that Beats experience after the Apple takeover. But again, the sound quality here really isn't that great, and it's certainly not worth $150. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like. It helps the algorithm, you know that. And let me know what you think in the comments. If you appreciate the no-shill, honest approach to these videos, please subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. You take care now.